Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name, after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
Know that that's where we're heading with that. So find your nice, tall, comfortable seat. Let your shoulders soften down. Take a moment just before you do anything, just let your eyes close down for a moment and see where you're at. How does your body feel here? Where is your mind at? What does your energy level feel like right now? And then we're going to take 3 physiological sighs. So physiological sigh, we take a big inhale of air, we retain the breath, we take an extra sip of air, we retain that breath, and then we exhale through the nose as slow as we can. So make sure you feel really comfortable in your seat and then take that first nice inhalation in through your nose. Retain the breath, take an extra sip of air through the nose. Hold that breath for just a moment and then exhale as slow as you can through your nose. Inhale through your nose, fill up with air. Retain that breath, take an extra sip of air. Hold that breath for a moment and exhale nice and slow through your nose. One more time like that. Inhale, fill up with air. Retain that breath, take an extra sip of air. Hold that for a moment and then exhale through your nose as slow as you can. Awesome. And then grab your theraband. We're going to take the theraband. You're going to try to get it like a nice wide spread of the band around the rib cage. So you're going to take your theraband and you're going to just take a little time to tie it around your rib cage and go for a nice tension, not like you're trying to choke yourself out or anything, but just enough of a tension. And then you want to tie it on so that it will stay without your hands. So get the ends tucked in, get it crisscrossed, get it to where you can kind of feel a little bit of feedback in your breath. That's all we want, is just to feel like when we breathe, we want to feel that little bit of touch point pressure against your band. So get it in place, take a second, take a breath, and just see if you can even feel it. And then once you feel like you've got the band in a good position, you can kind of feel the expansiveness of the rib cage as you breathe in. We're going to move it into box breathing. So in box breathing, we're going to go for a 4 count because you guys are good breathers. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold the breath for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then hold your exhale for a count of 4. So that's the breath cycle. And all of our breath cycles might look slightly different. So I'm going to kick us off with a count and then I'll stop counting and you'll do a count that makes good sense to you, but you want it to be that even rhythm. So find your comfortable seat, and we do want to breathe and expand the rib cage when we go with this one. So inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Retain your exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your exhale. 3, 2, 1. Now take that breath, keep it going, work with your breath's rhythm. So count to 4, hold the breath, count to 4, exhale, count to 4, hold your exhale for a count of 4. And especially on your inhalation, we want to look for that expansive feeling of breath in the rib cage. So look for that little bit of feeling of feedback against the band tied around you. Go for 2 more cycles of breath, that full extensive rhythm. So inhale, count of 4, hold, count of 4, exhale, count of 4, hold your exhale, count of 4. Think of that as one whole cycle. Once you've completed that last cycle of breath, take it into a light cat cow, or think calves and kittens. So inhale, lift your heart just a little bit. Exhale, round your back just a little bit. But we still want to keep that band tied around the ribs if we can, so we can still tune in and notice that place where we want that focus and concentration of breath. What does that look like and feel like when we move? Inhale as you lift your heart. Exhale as you round your back. All right, take one more seated cat cow and then come up to a neutral spine. Left hand's going to touch down to the ground. Right hand's going to reach up and over. Pause here for a moment. So you want to see if you need to like readjust your band so you can still feel that connection point on the side of the ribs. And then once you've got anything readjusted that you might need, think about breathing into the band that's touching the side of the rib cage. Take a nice big expansive breath in. Exhale nice and slow. Inhale, breathe into your band. Exhale nice and slow. One more breath. Now we're going to go for that round and reach type of idea, but we're just going to stay in the round and reach. So you're going to round and reach forward, stay there. See if you can feel that space where the band is touching your rib cage. Can you breathe into that space where the band is touching your rib cage? Take a nice big inhalation. Exhale nice and slow. Now that hand that's doing the round and reach, it's going to circle around and find a halfway point of easy seated forward fold. So now your other hand's going to come into meet, both hands in front of you. Press into your palms, round into the back of your body as if you're trying to push your bra clasp back behind you. And then notice where the band gives you that little bit of sensory feedback. Breathe expansively into the band, touching the back space of your body. Take a nice big breath in. Exhale nice and slow. Take one more breath. All right, now we're going to walk our side bend over to the other side. So take your right hand down to the ground. Left hand's going to reach up and over. Look for your side bend, and then see if you need to adjust, if you need that, like move the band so you feel that little bit of touch point or feedback. Adjust along the way as needed, and then find your side bend and think about breathing into that band touch point. So breathe into the rubber band. Exhale nice and slow. 2 more cycles of breath. Now take that top hand, do the round and reach, and then stay in round and reach. Breathe into the rubber band. One more breath. Now walk it around into that half point easy seated forward fold. So both hands are going to come back around in front, press into your palms, push your bra clasp back, breathe into the rubber band behind you. Take one more breath. All right, walk yourself up nice and slow. Now we're going to come back to that little bit of a folded position, but you're going to start by taking your fingers and just kind of walking around the curve of your ribs. You're going to look like, do you have a little give? Or is it a little bit tense? There's no right or wrong. This is a great place to just start and notice. So if you notice that it's tense, can you get your fingers to curl in just a little bit and then round over your fingers? So my fingers are curling underneath the curve of my ribs, and then I do a little tuck and round, and that'll give a little bit of slack on the diaphragm. So see if you can find that little extra bit of slack, and then breathe into your hands, into your rib cage. Let the rib cage expand. Exhale, look for a little bit more give underneath your fingers. Inhale, expand your rib cage. Exhale, look for a little bit more give. Take one more breath. Keep your fingers curled underneath your ribs. Slowly start to come back up. Restack your spine. Look to hold on firm to that curve of the ribs. Take a breath. Breathe into your rib cage. Exhale nice and slow. Awesome. Release your fingers. Now we're going to take our fingers and we're just going to do like a little pinch and roll. So you're going to grab the soft tissue at the front of your belly and you're going to kind of pinch and tuck and roll. So you can go under the shirt and get into the skin, or you can just kind of grab around the tissue of the belly. But all we're looking to do is kind of pinch. So it's skin, it's connective tissue, it's adipose tissue. It's all the stuff you think it is. Grab it, pinch it, roll it, just get it to be a little bit softer, get it to find a little bit more give underneath your fingers. It's a little bit like you get into your feelings a little bit like all this stuff I have to grab. It's wonderful stuff. It's supportive stuff. It's the stuff that makes us what we are. So don't get out of your mind about what that stuff is. Give it a pinch, give it a roll, get it soft underneath your hands. Let it find a little bit of give. And as you go along the way, give it a little bit of love. All right, so give it all one last little pinch and roll. Just get a little softness to that full surface of your belly. And then we're going to come onto our back, but we're going to release our band before we go. So take that band out from around your ribs. And then once you've got it out from around your ribs, come onto your back. Take your time as you come on down. We're going to come back to the ribs, but now we're going to go on the right side only. So you're going to take your fingers over to the right side of your rib. And you're going to just start to walk up and down the curve of your ribs, looking for a little bit of give. That same amount of give that we were able to find when we found that slack. So if you're here and you feel like you suddenly start to tense up your abdominal muscles, or you're sort of like in that sort of, there's like a tension in your abdomen, pause for a moment. Let your body relax. Make sure your tailbone feels good. Make sure your shoulder blades feel good. All the rest of your body can reduce effort as much as possible. And then once you found that reduction of effort, then come back into the ribs and walk around and see if you can just find a little bit of give on the right side. And then as you walk around the right side of the ribs, notice if there's a spot that does feel a little bit more tense or tight. And then see if you can pause on that spot for a moment. Gently press into it. Take a breath. Breathe into your rib cage. Exhale nice and slow. Let your jaw be soft. Let your eyes be soft. Hold on to that point. Inhale, breathe into your rib cage. As you exhale, think about softening the muscles in the front of your neck and your throat. Take one more soft breath. All right, now we're going to walk over to the left side curve. So now we're going to walk up and down the left curve of the rib cage, walking up and down with the fingers, looking for that give, noticing, because one side might be different from the other. We've got liver on one side, we've got stomach on the other side, we've got all those supportive organs inside, and that diaphragm just sometimes can hold tension in places that just help support the other stuff that goes on with our body. So walk up and down on that left side, notice if it feels different from the other side. And then see if you can find a spot that feels a little bit tighter, has a little bit less give. See if you can just kind of curl your fingers into that spot and then take a breath. Breathe into your rib cage. Exhale nice and slow. Stay on that spot. Inhale, breathe into your rib cage. As you exhale, think about softening the muscles in the front of your neck and your throat. Take one more breath. All right, release your hands. Take a second to just take a breath without the hands on the rib cage. Now we're going to walk the feet a little further away from the body. So walk your feet out so that you're in that long lever hip bridge position. Feet are dorsiflexed, heels on the ground, toes are lifted upward. Once you've got your way there, we're going to go hands out straight from the shoulders. You're going to think about reaching out through your elbows and anchoring your rib cage down. So we don't want a big puff and lift of the chest. So anchor your rib cage down. Reach out through your arms, fingers together if you can for this one. And then we're going to take 3 breath cycles, breathing into the rib cage. And then the last breath cycle, we'll take our fake inhalation or our apnea. So reach a little energy out through your arms. Make sure the back of your rib cage feels nice and anchored. Take a breath, expand your rib cage. Try to maintain that expansive shape of the rib cage. Exhale nice and slow. Let the abdomen draw down just a little bit. Inhale, expand your rib cage. Exhale, press gently into your heels, lengthen your spine, reach a little energy out through your arms. Last cycle of breath. Inhale, breathe and expand your rib cage. Try to maintain the shape of your rib cage. Exhale nice and slow. At the end of your exhale, prepare, swallow, close off your nose and throat, or pinch your nose closed. Keep your mouth closed. Take a fake inhalation. Look for that plunger effect on your diaphragm. Open the rib cage, expand the ribs. That's where the action happens. It's the rib cage muscles that are doing the work. So don't look for that firmness to come from your belly muscles. Look for the expansion to come from the rib cage. Open rib cage, expand. When you feel ready to do so, break that seal, take an inhalation, walk your feet in a little bit closer, soften your arms, take some windshield wipers with the knees. All right, one more windshield wiper with the knees, and then walk your feet in so that the feet are about hip width distance apart, heels nice and close to the butt. We're going to go for some low lever hip bridges, or excuse me, low lying hip bridges, but we're going to work in a little bit of single leg action along the way. So start by just an exhale, lift your hips up, go for like that halfway hip bridge point, so not fully up, go for that halfway point, and then keep your right foot on the ground. Lift your left foot up into a little bit of a hover, hold there for a moment. Set your left foot down, pick your right foot up into a little hover, hold there for a moment. Set your right foot down, lower your hips. Exhale, come all the way up, high bridge, lift up as high as you can. Lower back down. Now we're going to go back to that halfway point. So exhale, lift up into your halfway point. Keep your right foot on the ground, lift your left leg up into a hover. Set your left leg down, pick your right foot up into a hover. Set your right foot down, lower all the way down. Exhale, lift up into that full hip bridge, lift up as high as you can. Inhale, lower all the way back down. Exhale up to that halfway point. Keep your right foot on the ground, lift your left leg up into a hover, hold there. Set your left foot down, pick your right leg up into a hover, hold there. Set your right foot down, lower your hips. Exhale, lift up high hip bridge, go up as high as you can. Inhale, lower down. Exhale up halfway point. Keep your right foot on the ground, lift your left leg up into a hover. Set your left foot down, pick your right leg up into a hover. Set your right leg down, lower all the way down. Walk your toes and your knees together. So big toes together, knees together. Push your knees into each other. Hold that tension. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, butterfly position, knees drop out to the left and to the right. Just at the edge of that butterfly position, bring it back in, walk your feet to hip width distance apart. Exhale, lift up into a hip bridge. Inhale, lower back down, walk the feet back together, toes together, knees together, push your knees into each other, hold that tension, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop out into butterfly position, and then just at the edge of that butterfly position, pick it right back up, separate your feet to hip width distance apart. Exhale, lift up into your hip bridge. Inhale, lower down, feet together, knees together, push your knees into each other, hold that tension, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs drop out into butterfly position. Right at the edge of that butterfly position, pick it back up, feet separate into hip bridge position. Exhale, lift up into your hip bridge. Inhale, lower back down, big toes together, knees together. Push your knees in towards each other. Hold that tension, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees drop out to butterfly position. Just at the edge of that butterfly, pick it up. Feet separate to hip width distance apart. Exhale, lift up into your hip bridge. Inhale, lower back down. Walk those feet back together one last time. Big toes together, knees together. Push your knees into each other. Hold that tension. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees drop out to butterfly position, and then just at the edge of that butterfly, pick it up. Separate your feet to hip width distance apart. Exhale, lift up into your hip bridge. Hold there. Get a little squeeze in your butt muscles. Reach your knees towards your toes. Get a little length through the fronts of your thighs. Gaze up towards the ceiling. Take a breath. All right, now we're going to roll down one vertebrae at a time. So think upper back, middle back, low back, hips touch down, knees pull into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Take your knees, draw them in circles, circle in one direction. Draw them in circles, go the other way. All right, now we're going to roll over onto one side. So I'm going to start by rolling onto my right side, but you roll over onto whatever side feels good. We're going to take it into some side lying position clam work. So come into a propped up elbow and forearm. Keep your shoulder nice and braced. Keep your head nice and engaged. Feet together, knees stacked. Lift the top knee up. Lower it nice and slow. Lift the top knee up. Lower it nice and slow. Lift the top knee up. Lower it nice and slow. Now take your top hand, stack it on top of the outsides of your thigh. Your hand's going to create a resistance. Push into your thighs. Your thigh tries to lift. Lift it up nice and slow for 4, 3, 2, 1. Create that resistance in reverse. Lower nice and slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that resistance lifting up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse that resistance. Lower nice and slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep your resistance lifted up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse your resistance. Lower. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one with the resistance. Lifting up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower slow. 3, 2, 1. Release your hand, support the front of your body. Now we're taking it right into some lifts. So you're just lifting up and down. The full leg lifts up and down. Keep the upper body nice and stable. Keep your gaze forward. We're looking for a little bit of fatigue. So you're going to feel that little bit of that lactic acid buildup in the glutes. We're looking for that. We're looking to find it and see if we can hold on to that feeling for a little bit. So appreciate that burn. That burn is going to give us some good work. So keep it going best you can. Notice your breath. Notice if you start to scrunch up the space between your eyes, can you soften there? Go for 3 more if you can. All right, now we're going to flip over to the other side. I'm going to flip around so I'm facing out to you, but you flip yourself around in a way that makes good sense. Find your side lying position, setting up for those clamps. So knees stacked, feet together, side body nice and engaged, shoulder is braced, head is lifted and alert. And then once you're there, start with the soft variation. So we just lift up and lower down. Notice your breath. All right, one more up and down with that soft variation. Now take your hands, stack it on top of your thigh, create that resistance. So your hands pushing down, your thighs pushing up, you create a resistance going up 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse that resistance. So the thigh is technically pushing into the hand and the hand is trying to push the thigh down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Create resistance, lift up. 3, 2, 1. Reverse your resistance, lower. 3, 2, 1. Come up nice and slow. Create that resistance. Reverse your resistance, lower it down. Nice job. Create that resistance, lifting up. Reverse your resistance, lower down. Beautiful job. Last time. Create your resistance, lift up. Create that resistance, lower down, and then release your hand right into those lifts. So we're just lifting that whole top leg up and lowering it down. And that's the work. Keep it steady. We're looking for that little bit of feeling of burn. So go for it. Breathe into it. Go for 3 more if you can. Woo! And then when you're ready, we're going to flip around to tabletop position. So take your time. Start to find your way around to all fours. And then once you've found your way around to all fours, right away, curl all your toes under, take it into that rock forward and back. Stretch your bum back towards your heels. Bring your shoulders slightly past your wrists. All right, one more rock forward and back, and then we're going to take it into a little bit of spinal balance work. So come into tabletop position. Slide your right leg, left hand out and away from each other. Hold in that long position. Lift them just up into a hover. Notice that hover point. Lift it up just an inch higher. Lift it up just an inch higher. Lift it up a little higher. Lift it up a little higher. Lift it up to your full extended point. Double tuck your chin, gaze down on the floor. Hold there nice and steady. Hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower nice and slow and controlled. Slide it in. Bop your hips a little bit side to side. All right, now we're going to take that work to the other side. So left leg, right hand, slide out. Hold at that point for a moment. Lift up into a tiny hover. Lift an inch higher. Lift an inch higher. Come up a little higher. Maybe one more time. Look for your height, your full expansion of that space, and then hang out there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower nice and slow and controlled. Once you're back into tabletop position, bop your hips a little bit side to side. One more bop of the hips from side to side, and then hips come back to center. Walk it out to puppy pose. Keep your hips fairly in line with your knees. Walk your hands out. Let your heart soften down. Take 3 nice big breaths. On your next inhalation, walk it back up to tabletop position. Take your time. And then as you come into table, curl your toes under. Exhale, lift up into downward facing dog. Pick up your heels, lower your knees, come back to tabletop position, and then a pandiculation. So create resistance as if you're trying to pull back towards a child's pose. Create resistance, resist all the way back. And then once your butt is as far back as it will comfortably go, woo, soften, lift up into your downward facing dog. Pick up your heels, lower your knees, come to tabletop position, pandiculate or create resistance, pulling back towards that child's pose position, but the body creates a tension the whole way back. Resist all the way, and then once your butt is as far back as it will comfortably go, soften, lift up into downward facing dog. Pause there for a moment. Right back to tabletop position. Pick up your heels, lower your knees. One more time, we pandiculate, create tension, pull your butt back toward your heels, but resist the whole way back. Make it a nice strong work. And then once your butt is as far back as it will comfortably go, soften, lift up into downward facing dog, start to pedal out the legs, bend one knee, press into the opposite heel. Take one or two more pedals of the feet. We're going to want our theraband along the way with us. So as we walk towards the front end of our mat, if your theraband's off to one side, take it with you. Walk yourself up to the front end of your mat. Leave your theraband there for a moment. Find your soft ragdoll fold at the top of your mat, and then walk it a little side to side. Walk over to the left, walk over to the right. All right, the next time you walk over to the right, stay there. Take an extra cycle of breath. Beautiful. Walk it through center. Walk over to the left. Stay there. Take an extra cycle of breath. Walk back through center. Grab your theraband. Bend your knees. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Roll your way up to standing. Take your time as you roll your way up. And then as you come on up, give a second, get your costume adjusted. And then we're going to take our theraband. We're going to go for a palm facing up grip, about shoulder width distance apart. So see if you can find that first. We're just going to start by presenting the platter. So keep a little tension on, push the band forward, tuck your elbows into the side of the rib cage. Just a light little bit of tension, doesn't need to be extreme, just to kind of feel the feedback from the band. Keeping a good steady position with your forearms, your elbows, your armpit chest. One more time, in and out. And now we're going to flip our grip. So now we're going to go with the palm facing down grip. And then we're going to take it into a chair pose, and arms are going to just come in front of the chest. So you're going to keep your arms in that chair pose position. And then you're going to sit back and down, and then straighten up, float your arms up. And as we come up, we're going to go into a 5-pointed star single leg. So you're going to open your arms a little bit. So get a little bit of stretch and give as you lift one leg up and out to the side. And then bring it all back in with control. Hands are going to float right back in front of your heart space, sink into a chair. And then we're going to lift up 5-pointed star single leg on the other side. So lift the other leg out, arms lift, spread out just a little bit, bring it all back down, sink into your chair. Now we're going to float between these two spaces. So into chair and then up into that single leg 5-pointed star. Go nice and slow. Take your time. It doesn't need to be a huge lift on that single leg 5-pointed star. We just want to engage those side glute muscles. So just go for, even if the toe stays on the ground, go for the space where you feel those muscles get a little bit active. Take one more time through, or even yourself out. And then as you come through center, we're going to take our theraband and just toss it off to the right side of your mat. Find your chair pose. Hands are going to come in front of the heart space, sink a little bit deeper into your seat. We're going to slide the right leg back and open up into a warrior two from a standing position. So slide your right leg back, pivot open into that warrior two. So let your hips rotate, arms reach out from the shoulders, gaze forward. Take a breath. 3 peaceful warriors here. We're going to take that backhand touch down, reach the front hand up, come back up through warrior 2. Peaceful warrior, touch the backhand, reach the front hand up, come back to warrior 2. One more time, peaceful warrior. Back to warrior 2, straighten the front leg, turn both toes out to the right side of your mat, wide leg forward fold, bend down towards the ground. Grab your theraband, roll your way up, take your theraband, bring it behind you. We want a little bit of give so we can get a little bit of freedom to move those arms, and then soften your knees, hip hinge, fold over, let your arms fall away from the back of your body. Take one more breath. Keep your theraband with you, soften your arms, soften your knees, come up nice and slow and controlled. We're gonna go back to that warrior 2 position. So turn your left toes to the front end of your mat, bend that knee. Left hand's gonna hold onto the band, right hand's gonna choke up, pulling the bow and arrow. So now we're gonna pull back, think thumb to ear, go back in with good control. Pull back, thumb to ear, go back with good control. One more time, just like that, pull back, thumb to ear, go back with good control. And now here's where you might adjust your handhold so you have a little bit more space to give. So you're going to pull back to the ear and then all the way open to that warrior 2 position. Come back to the ear, bring it forward. Back to the ear, open all the way up, come in with good control, all the way forward. One more time. To the ear, open up, back to the ear, and forward. Take your theraband, toss it over to the left side of your mat, circle your hands down, pivot your back heel, come into a runner's lunge, hop that back foot forward into chair position. Once you're in chair position, pause for a moment, notice your breath, slide your left leg back, open up into warrior 2, pivot your heel, rotate your hips, gaze forward, take a breath. 3 peaceful warriors here, backhand touches down, front hand reaches up. Come back to warrior 2. Peaceful warrior, backhand touches down, front hand reaches up. Come back to warrior 2. One more time. Peaceful warrior. Come back to warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. Turn both toes to the left side of your mat. Fold down towards the ground. Grab your theraband, bend your knees, pull the abdominal muscles in, roll your way up, take that theraband behind you, find that good spacing so you can take that wide leg fold with the shoulder over. And then when you're ready, soften your knees, hip hinge, fold over, let the arms fall away from the back of your body. Hands towards the low back, bend your knees, come up nice and slow. Take your theraband with you. Turn your right toes towards the front end of your mat. Bend that right knee. Right hand grabs the theraband, left hand chokes up, thumb to the ear, bow and arrow pull. Pull it back, release with good control. Pull it back, release with good control. Pull it back, release with good control, and then change your grip a little bit so you have a little bit more room to move. Pull back to the ear, open all the way up, come back to the ear with control, and bring it forward. Pull it to the ear, open up, bring it back to the ear, come in with good control. One more time. Pull it to the ear, open up, bring it back to the ear, come in with good control. Release your theraband, set it down to the side, pivot into a lunge, step that back foot into chair position, pause in your chair position, take a breath. Now we're going to take our chair position and fold it down to the ground. Inhale to a half fold. Keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands to sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half fold. Exhale to soften down, step both feet back to down dog. From down dog, take it forward into plank position. Pause in your plank position, adjust your feet, broaden your shoulders, push the ground away from you, take a breath. Beautiful. Float your knees down, Come into tabletop position. Take the right leg out to the side into a fire hydrant. Hold there, hover for 3, 2, 1. Lower the leg down nice and slow, controlled. Switch to the left leg. Bring it out to the side into fire hydrant position. Hold it there for 3, 2, 1. Float that leg down. Right leg out to the side into fire hydrant position. Hold it there for 3, 2, 1. Lower with control. Switch it over to the left leg. Hold it out to the side. Hold it there for 3, 2, 1. Bring it down with good control. Right leg is going to lift out into that fire hydrant position. You're going to hold there and add a little pulse. And we're pulsing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower that leg nice and slow. Left leg comes out to the side. Hold it up in that hovered position. Add a pulse. And then we're pulsing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the leg with good control. Big toes together, knees walk out nice and wide, extended child's pose. Pull your bum back towards your heels. Let everything soften here. Let your heart soften down. Let your upper body get as soft and heavy as possible. Let your forehead soften down. Take 5 nice deep breaths. On your next inhalation, lift back up to tabletop position. Walk your knees in so that they're underneath your hips. Curl your toes under so feet are in dorsiflex position. Turn your fingertips in so your fingertips are facing towards each other, and then walk your hands out to the edges of your mat. Now you're going to push firm into your hands. Broaden as if your arms are in a hula hoop and you're pushing out through the elbows, pushing out through the hands, and your hands are trying to pull your yoga mat apart so the upper body is nice and active. Take a breath. Breathe into your rib cage. Try to maintain that shape of your rib cage. Exhale, let the abdomen draw in a little bit. Inhale, breathe into your rib cage. Exhale, create length in your spine. Last cycle of breath. Inhale, breathe into your rib cage. Exhale. At the end of your exhale, prepare, swallow, close off your nose and throat. Take a fake inhalation. Apnea. Open the rib cage. Let the rib cage expand. When you feel ready, break that seal. Walk it out to puppy pose. Keep your hips in line with your knees. Let your hands walk forward. Let your chest soften down. Take a breath. Now we're going to walk the elbows wide. Hands are going to come together like your index finger and your thumb are making a little triangle. So we're going to stay in that puppy pose inclined plane. Bring your hands together. Walk your elbows nice and wide. Let your forehead, or where your hairline is, let your hairline rest on your thumbs. Once you've got your way there, keep your feet in a dorsiflex position. Inhale, breathe into your rib cage. Exhale, nice and slow. Inhale, breathe into your rib cage. Try to maintain that expansive shape of the rib cage. Exhale, let the belly draw in a little bit. Last cycle of breath. Inhale, breathe into your rib cage. Exhale. At the end of your exhale, prepare, swallow, close off your nose and throat. Apnea, open rib cage. Let the rib cage expand. When you feel ready, break that seal. Slowly lift yourself up to tabletop position, hands underneath the shoulders. Take 3 cat-cows. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. One more time. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back, find a neutral spine, swing your toes out to one side, side lying position. Come onto your right side, bend your knees, take it into a star plank. We're lifting the hips, we're lifting the arm, we're keeping the shoulder braced, lower nice and slow and controlled. Do that again. Lift up into your star plank, hold for 3, 2, 1. Lower nice and slow and controlled. One more on this side. Lift up, hold it up there, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower slow, roll across to the other side. I'm going to turn my back to you just for ease of transition. Come into your side plank, star plank position. Lift it up. Lower with good control. Lift it up again. Hold it there. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Lower with control. One more time. Lift it up. This time, hold it there. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower with good control. Roll onto your back. Take your time as you come down onto your back. Once you're down on your back, float your legs up into legs up the wall. Keep a good soft bend in the knees. Point and flex your feet. Notice your back, notice your shoulders, get your back adjusted, get your shoulder blades adjusted. Take one more moment. We're going to float our feet down into a bent knee position. So take it into that reverse tabletop position. Arms are going to float up, think dead bug position, but we're going to go with a little bit of a fire hydrant. So you're going to let your right knee drop out to the side. Come back in with good control. Let your left knee drop out to the side. Come back in with good control. Right knee drops out to the side. Come back in with good control. Left knee goes out to the side. Come back in with good control. One more time. Right leg drops out to the side. Come back in with good control. Left leg drops out to the side. Come back in with good control. Float your feet down. Pick your hips up just enough so you can slide your hands underneath the small of your back. Send your right leg nice and long. Right heel touches the ground. Right foot is in a flexed position. Exhale, curl up your head, neck, and chest. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, curl up, hold there. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lower back down. One more time. Exhale, curl up, hold it there. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lower down. Slide your right leg in. Slide your left leg nice and long. Left foot flexed, heel to the ground. Exhale, curl up your head, neck, and chest. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, curl up and hold. Hold there for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, curl up and hold. This time, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lower down. Slide your left leg in, pick up your hips, move your hands out from underneath you, toe heel your feet so that they're nice and wide. So the toes are out to the corner or edges of your mat. So a little bit of a wide hip bridge position. Once you've got your way there, hands alongside your body. Exhale, lift up into that hip bridge. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, lift up into bridge. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, lift up, hold there. Squeeze your glutes. Don't let them go. Squeeze them again. Don't let the knees collapse. Squeeze your glutes one last time. Hold that squeeze. Don't let the knees collapse. See if you can hold that squeeze. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax your glutes. Lower your hips back down. Dorsiflex your feet. Arms are going to come in front of the heart space, fingertips pointing in towards each other, elbows nice and wide. So it's a little bit like a froggy position, right? Feet are flexed, arms are out in front of you, arms are nice and active. Check your rib cage. If it's puffed up, anchor your rib cage down. Gaze up towards the ceiling, eyes on the horizon. Take an inhale, breathe into your rib cage. Exhale, gently press into your heels, create length in your spine, rib cage anchors down. Inhale, breathe into your rib cage. Try to maintain that shape. Exhale, let the belly draw in a little bit. Last cycle of breath. Inhale. Exhale. At the end of your exhale, prepare, swallow, close off your nose and throat, or pinch your nose closed, keep your mouth closed. Take a fake inhalation, diaphragm flies up, rib cage opens and expands, the belly comes along for the ride. So we keep a soft belly, rib cage opens. Hold it for a moment if you can. And then when you're ready, release, soften, push into your heels, shift your hips over to the right, walk your feet down to the left corner of your mat. Take your arms, reach them up to the top left corner of your mat. So you're in your Bananasana, nice side crescent position. Reach out through your heels, reach out through your arms, create a little extra length through the right side of your body. Take a big breath in. On your next inhale, soften everything, walk it all back through center, shift your hips over to the left side of your mat, walk your feet down to the right corner of your mat, stretch your arms up and over to the top right corner of your mat, make that crescent shape. Now feeling that little bit of stress on the left side of the body, reach and anchor through your heels, reach and anchor through your arms, take a breath. On your next inhalation, walk it all back through center. Readjust your hips so they're in that center point, and then take your right knee into your chest. Maybe left leg goes nice and long, supine twist. Take that right knee over and across the body. Let your right arm open out nice and wide. Turn your head to the right. Bring your right knee into your chest, take your left knee into meet, and then send your right leg nice and long, supine twist to the other side. Take your left knee over to the right, left arm opens wide, head turns to the left. On your next inhalation, bring your left knee back into your chest, bring your right knee into meet. And then we're going to go for that sort of semi-happy baby situation. So bring your hands to the insides of your legs, elbows push out, knees push in, create some tension here. So your knees are pushing in, your arms are creating resistance. Hold that resistance, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften, bring your hands to the outsides of your knees, push your knees out, hands create resistance, pushing the knees out, hands pushing in, hold that resistance, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften, bring it into a reverse tabletop position, left hand on top of the knee, right hand behind the thigh, opposite push pull. Find that opposition and hold that opposition. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften and switch. Right hand on top of the knee, left hand behind the thigh, opposite push pull. Hold that resistance. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften. We're going to send the legs nice and long, but have your shavasana props ready. So if you want your blanket, just make sure it's handy, available nearby. Walk your legs nice and long. Look for that traditional corpse pose position for right now, and you can change it after we're done. But we're going to tense up the entire body. So you're going to scrunch up your feet. You're going to tense up your legs. You're going to scrunch up your bum. Your belly is nice and tight. Your chest is tight. Your face is all scrunched up. Everything is holding tension. Hold that tension as long as you can. Take an in breath. And then as you exhale, let it all go. We're going to do that again. Tense everything up, scrunch up your feet, scrunch up your hands, tighten up your bum, tighten up your belly, tense up your chest, neck muscles are tight, scrunch up your face, hold that tension, take a breath in the tension. And then as you exhale, let it all go. We're going to do that one last time. Tense everything up, make fists, scrunch up your feet, tense up your legs, tense up your butt, tense up your thighs. Belly is tight as can be, chest is super tense. Make a face, scrunch everything up, take an in breath in all of that tension. And then as you exhale, let everything go. Now you can stay right here for your Shavasana or grab your blankie and get yourself into a really comfortable position, whatever that might look like. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Gently wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. As you start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, look for that slightly deeper breath coming back into your body. And then when you feel it, start to move some other parts. Move your wrists, move your ankles, maybe turn your head a little bit side to side. And then if you feel a little bit more awake, a little bit more alert, maybe take it into big good morning stretch. Reach your arms up above your head, walk your legs nice and long. Take up a little space in your body, take up a little space on your mat. Take a nice big breath in, reach and lengthen through your fingers, through your toes. And then in your own way and at your own pace, find your way up to a comfortable seated position, coming up to Sukhasana with legs crossed if that's available. And then once you've got your way up to your comfortable seated position, we're going to go hands to the curve of the ribs. So you're just going to take your hands, find that bottom curve of the ribs, take a breath, expand the curve of your ribs. Exhale nice and slow. Inhale, breathe and expand into your rib cage. Exhale nice and slow. Take one hand to your heart, take one hand behind your heart space, wherever it can comfortably go. Breathe into your rib cage. Switch hand positions if it feels comfortable to do so. So the other hand comes on top of the heart, the other hand goes to that back heart space, and then breathe and expand the rib cage. Nice. And then when you're ready, bring your prayer hands together right in front of the heart. Press between the palms, elbows out. Press your palms into each other and hold that tension. Breathe in through your nose. Keep that tension. Exhale slow. Keep that tension. Breathe in through your nose. Keep that tension. Exhale nice and slow. Keep that tension. Breathe in through your nose, breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, for all of your hard work. And then as you exhale, soften that tension. Let your elbows soften down. Let your shoulders soften down. Soften the muscles in the front of your neck and your throat. And think about letting go of anything else that you're holding on to that won't serve you through the rest of your day. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head. Gently open your eyes. I bow to you. You guys are amazing.